in one piece. So you might just need to give it some help and roll it out thin.
I see what you're saying. So it doesn't like pull it. It like,
Yeah, yep.
yeah, because it was like pulling at an edge. Got it. Okay. So that's something that we could have done better earlier too. So see,
Yep.
we're learning. We're
Yeah,
learning.
you're learning it as you go. And the thing is that you have to, with cooking, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to be ready for things to not go to plan because they won't. And what we like to say is we fail forward. You learn, you go, oh crap, like this screwed up. But then have that courage to keep going because it will come together. It will work out. We just need to figure out, something different, a different way of doing it, or maybe roll it out thinner, or maybe, what could be going wrong here. And it just happens, it just,
Exactly.
with practice. Yes, yeah, cool. So,
So
what
it's
you want to,
maybe a 1/4 inch for those of you who are in the United States too.
no idea what she means. 1/4 inches?
A 1/4 inch thick.
All right, so now you want to try and feed it through. It might be a little bit wide, so you can cut it in half if you want. Will it fit through
Okay.
the thickness of your press? Yeah, that's good.
It won't,
Yeah, so that looks
but
good.
now it will.
Fabulous. Cool, that looks good. Now, so feed it through on level 1.
Okay, so hopefully it'll take it this time. Ooh, folded in on itself. Oh no.
You got it. It's looking a lot better this
Oh,
time.
it
And
does, doesn't it?
you just need to, as it gets longer and as we start working, it'll just become a balancing process of holding onto the dough and feeding it through while also working it with your other hand. How's it looking? Is it
Like
going
to
through?
guide it through. Yeah, it's going through. It's kind of maybe a little bit thinner. It's like breaking
Still breaking?
almost.
So is the setting that it's on, can it go any thicker?
Yeah, it can go to like
So make it as thick as
7.
possible. But is that thin or is that thick?
I think it's thinner.
So we want to put it on the
Thicker? Here.
thickest setting first.
Let me get this through
Yeah,
and see what it'll look like.
that's all good. Because you're doing the exact thing that you need to be doing, but it shouldn't be breaking. It's a bit strange that it,
Okay, so it's kind of got like better when I adjusted
that's
it, so
looking
maybe
good.
something's
That's looking really good.
weird.
But
Yeah, it's like still having the breaking thing, but it's not supposed
yeah,
to shred like that.
yeah.
Um,
Is there a
so let me
setting like a
see.
click before the one? Is there like a, no?
No, but 7 is larger though.
Oh, it is?
So like
Interesting.
so it gets bigger. So the 1 is like the
The
small.
thinnest. Ah, interesting. Okay, so it's the opposite of. So let's start on 7 then. You did a great
Oh,
job
okay.
of getting it through on the 1 if that's the thinnest. So let's start at
Yay. Yeah,
7.
now it's like it's
Super
quite
thick.
thick.
Okay,
So,
cool. Let's
yeah.
start there. Yep.
Okay, should I try to put these little guys through, see what happens?
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
Fabulous. See, and that's the thing is that we're using different equipment and
Yay!
different brands do a different thing and their idea. Yes, that's what we want. Yes.
Woo!
Because I
So in
was
case you
thinking,
guys
I was
know,
like,
now we
it
know.
should not be that hard to get it through and it should be breaking. Fabulous. Nice. Okay, so
Okay.
now
Here we
what I want
go.
you to do is just bundle everything that you've got now all together. So bring
That's
everything,
what it
all
was
of that dough.
before.
Yeah, okay. So now we know we're onto the right path.
Hi, Kirsta.
Okay, so now because we've kneaded that and the protein, it's kind of like it's gonna start to contract and it needs time to relax. So what I'm gonna get you to do is put that piece, that bowl, underneath the cloth and get a fresh piece.
Got it. Okay, so we've worked it a little bit.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna work a different piece.
Yeah,
Okay.
just because it won't stretch because we need it to be nice and relaxed to then go through the
Okay.
machine so it stretches. If it's all tense, it won't go through and it will be really, really hard and it will be brittle and break. So it's okay to
Okay.
swap around and use another piece. Fabulous.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, sounds good.
Nice.
Gonna squeeze this guy over here just so I have
Thank you,
a
Mum.
little bit more rolling room.
Nice.
Here we go. Okay.
Good job. Okay, so then just roll it. You won't need to roll it as thin this time. Now that we know the thicker setting, it should just be able to pass through. Yeah, because I was
Okay.
thinking
Good to
you
know
shouldn't have
though.
to work
So
this hard to then use in a piece of equipment.
yeah.
It should, it should help you, and it should be adding adding some help. All right. So just a
Yeah.
little bit. Cool.
So
Fabulous. Yep. And then you want to
looking
pass
pretty
that
good to
through
me.
level 7. Yes.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so
Yes.
for those of you who are here and curious of what I'm seeing, it's like a 1/4 inch thick hole where I'm passing it
Fantastic.
through.
Okay, so now you've got your piece like this, and you want to fold it in thirds like an envelope. So we're going to go like this, and you want to bring this one into the middle, like that. You can stretch it if you want, like that. And then you want to fold the other piece on top.
Perfect.
Yes, perfect.
A little
Perfect.
purse.
Yes. Dolce & Gabbana, eat your heart out. And then you want to roll it. So using your rolling pin, and you want to roll it just to help it go through the rolling again. The roller again.
Okay.
Cool. It's just a little bit thinner. Fabulous. And now go through level 7. Push it through.
Okay, I'm going in sideways, lengthwise.
Fabulous.
Ooh.
Yes. Okay, so dust it with a little bit of flour. And then we're going to change it to level 6. And we're going to go through now. Okay, so how are you feeling? Are you feeling a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, definitely.
It's not seeming like
Kind of
it's a
knowing
lot
like
of
the
work.
feeling.
It,
Yeah.
it seems like it's a little bit overwhelming when you're first doing it. Like, oh my God, it's a lot of steps. Like, it's really, really hard. But once you do it by yourself or you do it again, you'll get quicker. Like, it will feel like it's a lot of work and you're like, oh my God, it's not worth it. But the more you do it, it'll become, like second.
That's
Yeah.
kind of like French silk pie. Like I've made it probably 5 or 6
Yeah.
times and I just got better and better and better each time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And like rolling out pie dough, the first time you flip the pie dough over into your tin, it might rip and break, but then you become a lot better and you know how to flip it over, the better technique to like line your pie dish and then bake it, and it becomes quicker and quicker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're on level 6 now for you, and
Do we
level 2 for me.
envelope this?
No, not this one.
Do
we
we
just
envelope
leave.
it?
Nope. Just
Okay,
the
cool,
first time.
cool.
Yep. Great job.
Okay.
So now passing that through. And so with what you're doing, it might be easier for you, depending on, like, let me know how it feels for you, to stand on the other side of the machine, maybe. Wind with your left hand. How am I thinking? Wind, it's really confusing because to pull out, rather than leaning over, it might be better for you to play around with your
Almost
positioning.
like this kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it might be better for you to feed it in with one hand while you're winding, but then also it's an awkward position for you to grab it out at the end as well. So play
Yeah, that
around.
makes
You don't
sense.
have to be standing in one position, guys. You can change it around and what feels comfortable for you. And you might want to wind with your right hand, you might want to wind with your left hand.
Because now what I've done is I moved it to the side, the edge of the table over here. Like you can't see me. Oh no, I actually can't do it because of the clamp on here. So I can't do that. Well, because I can't go like this, and it's still the same issue.
Yeah. Yep, I understand.
Maybe I will try with my left hand. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
Like I'll just turn the other way, but I couldn't
how
even
you
get
go.
it like on the other end. Yeah.
Bummer.
Okay. So like we got this. and then roll it through another time.
Yep. So you're on level 6.
Okay.
So have you gone through level 6?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So now you want to go to level 5.
Okay. Okay. Ah.
Because sometimes it feels a bit strange to use your dominant hand to do the winding, because then you feel awkward with your non-dominant hand holding the pasta or doing, being in control with your non-dominant hand. So sometimes use your grunt and your muscles to use your non-dominant hand as the winding, and then you're more controlled and you've got more dexterity to move your pasta around with your dominant hand.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and I was winding it the other way. I'm like, oh my god, what's going on?
Yeah. Yep.
So do I want to go down another level then?
Yes, please.
Okay, so number 4.
So
Got it. So you like work it down. You start high and you go low.
yes, where I go low and then I go high, move up to high, high numbers. So are we thinking more of a spaghetti, or did you want to do a fettuccine? What type of pasta shape did you like?
Let's do like a fettuccine.
Yeah, I think that would be perfect.
I know that'll impact the thickness.
Yes. Yep. So we're gonna go for probably, let's go with 5 for me, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So get down to about a 3 for you.
A 3. Okay,
Yeah.
so one more pass.
Yeah.
Got it. Ooh, it's getting so long. Woo!
Yeah. If you ever find that it's uncomfortable and awkward to hold, cut it in half, long ways, and then you'll be able to handle it easier.
Okay,
This
that makes
looks
sense.
so good.
I know
There
it's
you
coming out so
go.
good. Yay! I like how it comes out in like this cute little like.
Yes. And so just dust it with a bit of flour just to make sure it doesn't stick on itself.
Okay.
Okay, so we need to get to the bottom of something. We realized this
What's
morning
that?
we've been friends for a long time now. About a year and a half, as you said. We have been calling you Zephrine for so long. And then this morning we were watching you and we were like, because you introduced yourself and you were like, you can call me Zephrine. And we're like, except to exceed.
Wait a minute.
What the heck? So how do you pronounce your name?
Zephyrin.
It's Zephrine.
So
And I want to know
It
the
is.
story behind it.
So it was World of Warcraft. I was really young. Oh God, when it first came out
Back in the day. Yep.
back in the day, it was like I don't
Dial-up?
remember. I was
Were you on
probably like
dial-up?
13. I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
I was like 12 or 13 years old, and I was making a character, and I wanted to be a healer. So then I was sitting at my desk thinking of a name, you know. And next to me is a bottle of aspirin. And, quirky 12 to 13-year-old me is like, yeah, that's medicine.
Yep.
Healers can use that. And then I just kind of did it. And that's why, like, my name is pronounced the way that it is. And it just
Yep.
kind of stuck with me over the years. I'm like,
So Zephrine,
I've
like
always used
aspirin.
it.
I love it.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, like, I'm like, people mispronounce my name sometimes, which is okay. Like, it's
Why
gonna
don't you
happen, and
tell
it's
us?
always
Oh my
happened. So
God.
it's not.
I
I'm
love
like,
it.
it's not a big deal to me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. So when so Zephyr aspirin. So where did the Zeph part come from?
Just making like how sometimes you just kind of mash words together.
Yeah.
I was like making my character name, so I was like just adding letters and words to the end, like the front and end of things.
Yep. Okay. I love it.
And that's kind of like how I've always come up with my names for like Dungeons and Dragons stuff, World of Warcraft, whatever.
Yep.
Like I've always just kind of contorted names together.
So how long have you been using the gamer tag Zephyrin for?
Oh God, World of Warcraft. Hey Alexa, when did World of Warcraft come out? 2004.
Wow. And that's your
So almost
primary
20
gamer
years.
tag? Do you go by any others? since then, or
I haven't for years.
yep.
I went by one once and then I ended up like changing the name.
And has Zephyrin always been available? You never had to add any numbers or anything to the end or underscores?
When I was doing a lot in a different game, basically it was like a faction versus faction thing, and it was kind of, they had like a war mechanic or whatever. I was kind of like a bit of like a almost like a war leader, I guess, or
Yeah,
faction
okay.
leader is what you would call it.
Yep.
So there would be people who would go into like other games that would launch and then try to take that name. So like
Yeah.
for instance, if you go onto like Twitch tracker or whatever on the stats thing, if you
Yeah.
search Zephyrin, you'll see like a whole bunch of different names, ones that are like making fun of me or other things, and like it's just, and that's from that time period of like when that kind of stuff happened.
Yep.
So
Oh, I got
like
like
yeah, some
yeah.
other people would try to do
Yeah.
certain things.
Um, yeah, love the troll accounts, don't you? So we want to
Yep.
go ahead and use the other the other three pieces and roll them out to the same thickness, and
Yes.
we want to dust them with some flour and just let them kind of hang out but not get too dry. Okay.
Okay, so we just like let it sit and I'll move it over and then we'll get working on the other ones. Okay.
Um,
I'll probably save that other one for last. The one that we already did.
nice. Sounds good.
Uh,
So what was you say your first introduction to gaming, the gaming scene was? Like what game do you remember first playing?
um, oh God, I was in diapers. So I was born in 1991. The Sega
So you are,
Genesis.
okay, so you are a few months older than me. So I'm 1992.
Yeah. Yep. I'm December of 1991.
That's it. Yep.
And so I have two older brothers. One just turned 37. He's the
Yep.
oldest. And my other brother is 35, 36, 36.
Yep.
No, 34. Sorry, I had to think backwards. He's 34. So like I'm the youngest of three.
Yep.
And so we were in the 90s. That's when we
Yep.
grew up. And so we had the Sega Genesis growing up. And so
Oh,
I was
okay.
basically introduced to video games at a very, very, very young age.
Yep. And
So
what were you
that's kind of
playing
where
on
it
the Sega
started.
Genesis? What can you remember?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Hyperstone Heist was my first game and one of my favorite games of all time. We played Sonic the Hedgehog,
I was about to say a bit of Sonic
Road
in
Rash, like
Yep.
all sorts of stuff growing up.
there. I
And
love
then
it.
we played a lot of Nintendo 64 when that came out. But yeah, like I always grew up watching my brothers play video games, and
Yep.
it's kind of interesting to see how that kind of like translates and like how to Twitch even. You know, like you're just hanging out, you're like on the couch sitting there just like watching someone.
This
And
is
like I got a lot of
exactly it.
comfort through that. Yeah, that's
Because
it.
I didn't play a lot of games growing up. Like I played Duck Hunt and what was it? Exceed Pimple and Rush, the what are they? Battletoads?
Toe Jam and Earl. Oh, Battletoads. I played a lot of Battletoads too.
Mario and like Duck Hunt was the first game I remember. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course. But I loved and still do sitting there and watching people game. Like I would love to sit on the couch and watch Exceed play Halo or watch him play Call of Duty and be a part of it, but not feel like I had to, you know, be the person that was actually behind the controller. There was a lot of joy in that for me. And you were the same, it seems.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed that with my brothers, and like, I remember playing or watching them play The Legend of Zelda or games like Banjo-Kazooie, those kind of like
Yep.
adventure style games. And then I remember like sitting there watching them trying to solve all the puzzles and stuff, and then I would have them figured out before they did.
Yep. And just give them some backseat gaming. That was just the original
Well, when they
backseat
asked
gaming.
for it though.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I was always, you know, with Spyro, I was always telling my brothers, I was like, go left, you have to go here, and you have to go and do the puzzle and whatever. And they were like, Molly, shut up. Because my brother, they were ultra competitive, and so they would do like time each other and do like different
like the
games,
speed run.
and then like speed run, like the kids version of that, and they'd time each other how long they could get from one place, or do this challenge in Crash Bandicoot or whatever, and then they'd compete with each other. And so then I'd come on and I'd be like, you have to go here, and they'd be like, don't get involved. Where it's our thing.
Right?
Yeah. All
I
right.
love that.
And that's the great thing with Twitch, because that's how it came about, right? Watching other people, and
Exactly.
you didn't have to have those necessarily have the game or have the skills and whatever. You could just get involved and be a part of the community watching someone.
Exactly, right? Like it was kind of this just a nice way to get yourself involved and like chill out. And like like our community is really lurky, and I love that about them. Like because it's like, to me, that's like a sense of comfort. You know, like you're hanging out, you have no obligations to like do anything or say anything. You're just there. You're just
Yeah.
hanging.
And just
Like
to
I
be
love
like,
that.
it's just like hanging out with your friend and just
Uh-huh.
being there, not having to say or do anything. You just kind of there together, right? Because you've got
Yeah, exactly.
joint interests and joint joint kind of values and ethics, and you're just kind of there to, and there's no obligation, like you said.
Exactly. And that's the thing, you know? Like, and it's fun. I like it.
That's good. It's good that you.
Perfect.
What is your
So, how
favorite
did
thing about Twitch and about streaming that you didn't realize when you got involved in it that we would love so much?
the community, honestly. Because to me, it was something to like share what I was doing, or, you know,
Yep.
whatever, just something to kind of do in my free time. But then it developed into the sense of community and like being there for each other and, you know, laughing about whatever, supporting each other through whatever moments that life, you know, throws at us.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing for me, is it's really become the community.
So tell me a little bit about
And
the Beanie Weenies and what makes them so special.
the Beanie Weenies, well, they are chaotic and friendly and loving and knowledgeable, supportive.
Yep.
Like it's just, there's so many facets. It's hard to like lump them all into um like a box. I guess like, well, Benjamin's kind of like our mascot. So the
Yeah.
way that like the beanie thing came into play was when
This was another question I have. Yes.
Yep. Yeah. He's a rainbow bean because like it kind of resembles the color that you bring into the world, you know, and like your weirdness, you know, like embrace your weird. And that's really what it's about. Is like kind of a place to just kind of be yourself,
Yep.
you know. And
love that.
that's why we call ourselves the Beanie Weenies. Well, we cry over like silly stuff, you know, we've fallen over silly things, and you know, we're weenies. But that's why it's the rainbow bean.
And why the bean specifically? Did that come about from a certain, you know, in joke or something that happened on stream?
Well, there was someone that was a part of our community ages ago, and they were like, "Oh, I'm just a strange bean. I'm weird. I'm just a strange bean.
Yeah.
I'm just a, you know, like, because you kind of call people human beings sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yep. I have
And
heard you
so
say that.
that's
Yep.
kind of what I'm like, wait, that's, you know, because at that point I was still really new to streaming, or, you know, at least like building a community rather, and being consistent with the streaming scene. And I was still kind of struggling with what I wanted my branding to be. And then I was like, that's it. That's what I want it to be, because I want people to be their weird selves. So people ask all the time, like, how do you get your brand? I'm like, it just comes. It kind of falls in your lap sometimes. You can't really force it.
You can't force it, can you?
So.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yep.
And what would you what would you say to someone who wants to be a part of a community? What is your like tips for someone to come into a community your own or a community online? What is something that you think that for someone to find their place or to find some friendship groups or to be a part of something, what do you think that is something that you live by or you go by?
There is something out there for everybody. And you
Mm-hmm.
just kind of have to, like, social media obviously is going to be a really good spot to kind of get in touch and find what you really want.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but just go in and just like watch someone and just vibe and see what happens because you never know what you're going to run into.
Yep.
Sometimes, for instance, like you raid into somebody and then you have the chance to meet another streamer, and it's just, it can change. That's like how we've grown our community
Mm-hmm.
and also introduced people to yours as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like you find people with those values, and then through that you can find friends and relationships and
Yep.
even more communities.
Yeah, I love that. And you
But
don't
just
put
find
pressure
something
on
you,
yourself.
yeah.
You know, like you don't need to be full pressure to chat or like lurking is fantastic to figure out if you vibe with that person or if you like that community and if you then when you feel more comfortable then get more involved as you feel like when it's right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because I know, oh gosh, we have so many community members in our community where um, there's someone, they're like, hey, I've been a lurker for like 3 years or whatever, however long, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yep, it's
They just
amazing.
hang out, and that's
Mm-hmm.
that's totally awesome. Like
Yep.
there are so many flavors of support.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes just being there, and that's what counts. So,
Yeah.
how about
Yep.
you? How did you get into streaming too? Hmm.
So my husband, Exceed, as you guys know, is my other half. He was a big gamer, so uh, we were. He introduced me through Twitch because we were watching like in the mornings as we got ready for work, and we on the night times and stuff we would just flick through because he'd gamed his whole life and my brothers had gamed, and that's how they kind of got along and chatted. And I didn't have a lot of experience, but I did love watching people play. So our first streamer that we watched was Summit 1G, and I used to love watching
Hmm.
him play PUBG. That was, I think, the first channel back then that we watched, and in the mornings before we got ready for work. And Ixie was like, "Do you want to stream?" And I was like, "Nah, like what would I stream? Like I'm not really good at games or whatever." And that was when there was the IRL, like you had your gaming categories and there was IRL. And
Hmm.
I think we were living in a house. We just moved there, and we set up and we did one stream. And I it was chatting to someone, I think from Texas. And there was just one person, one or two viewers that were watching. They would pop in throughout the stream, and I don't remember what I was making, but I got off and I enjoyed it, but it just seemed like a lot of work. And I didn't know, and there was not a huge IRL scene on Twitch then, and I didn't know anyone else was doing it, and I didn't know, there was no pull for me to do it. I didn't have a community. I wasn't a part of anyone else's community on Twitch and gaming. And then I had an idea where Exceed and I wanted to move over east. We were looking at international, moving to Canada, and the cost was incredibly expensive, so we thought we'd move to the East Coast. I got a job and we moved over there, but we were a little bit out of the city. We didn't really know anyone, and we didn't really do anything in the evenings. We would just go to work, come home, and we would watch Twitch. And one night we stumbled. This was from my first stream, it was 4 or 6 months apart, and we were watching, and there was this girl cooking, and she was this fitness kind of streamer, and she was just making anything. She was chatting. She had quite a lot of viewers, and Exceed turned to me and he said, like, your cooking skills and my interest in tech, like and cameras and things, like we could have some fun with this, and we could just do it. Like stream cooking dinner. I was like, okay, like sure. And so we went out and we bought
Yeah.
the next day we bought a microphone, and we bought a widescreen camera, wide angle Logitech camera. And the 20th of April 2017 was our first ever stream. and we streamed in the morning and just started from there. We streamed 5 days a week. Well, it was all like ad hoc randomly, and then we went 5 days a week, and it just became something that connecting with people from all different parts of the world. Like we were streaming at 7 p.m. I got to the stage where I would drive home from work in the city, which is an hour drive home, and we would be on a phone call. I'd be on Bluetooth in my car, and I'd be like, I really want to make this. And as Exceed was cleaning the kitchen, he'd get all the ingredients out for me as we drove home, and I would walk in, reapply my makeup, and then we would go live. And
Yep.
just that ability to make dinner as the Americans are, like American community are waking up, the European community, it's midday. And I was just like, being able to welcome people into my home, and it be like what you were talking about before is welcoming people, and it be like just a chill hangout where you could just think of someone sitting at your breakfast bench or like your table, just having a chat with a friend, not having to say anything, no obligation to say anything or do anything. No, you don't have to don't have to cook, but it could just be a hangout. And that's what our community, we just say, pull up a chair. Like, we don't matter who you are, you know, your race, religion, your political views, whatever, as long as you're a good person, as long as you're a good human being, like you said, that's what matters. How we treat other people and how we get involved, that's what matters. And being a part of something greater than you, and sharing your experience, sharing your day, sharing your not so good things. We're all human, and sometimes we have not so good days. Some days we have days where we want to celebrate, and everyone needs a cheerleader in their life, and we want to be that for you. We want to believe in you until you believe in yourself. We want to cheer you along, and we want to just, you know, be there for each other.
Yeah, and that's really what it's about. Like you mentioned watching Summit and stuff like that, and like
Yeah.
all of those really large streamers. I remember being a part of like medium-sized communities and just stumbling into them because one day as I was thinking about streaming The Sims, one day just like looked at the Sims category and saw what was going on. What are people streaming? What is it like? And that's where I found like streamers such as like Mega Oryx. She's really, really awesome. If you know Negs, I don't know if you know Negs.
We were actually on a stream team with her, Crash
Yeah.
Team. Yeah, so she's so lovely.
She is. And that was the streamer where, like, because I would always watch, like, the Pro League streamers, you know, people like, oh my God, really big WoW streamers, like, oh my God, what's his name? Asmongold. And, like, those communities are, like, you know, their success is just ridiculous and amazing in its own respect.
Yeah.
But the flavor of community is so different. It's night and day. So like the things that you find from like the smaller, the mid-sized streamers is going to be completely different. And I was like, I saw Negs and I'm like, I love that. That's what I want to be.
That was us as
That's
well.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that type of streamer that like really comfort, like you were saying, like if you do exclamation mark Zephyrin in chat, see I didn't see Zephyrin, like that kind of big sister energy, that type of comfort stream, that warm, wholesome environment, rather than like your, you know, sometimes gaming streams have that toxic culture, but you can come in and it be warm and inviting, and it doesn't matter what's going on in your day, because we're the same. Like Nega Oryx, your Katie Peter plays, very, very inspiring. And, you know, for us, you know, how you interact with your community, how you are so bubbly and inviting, that ray of sunshine in people's days. It's what people radiate towards.
Yeah. And, you know, there's a different community out there for everyone, like talking about that entire thing.
Yep.
Like, I might drive someone up the wall, but that's okay because I'm not their streamer. Like, you can literally poop rainbows and people are going to be like, I don't like you. I'm like, okay, I'm not your thing then. That's okay. That's 100%. Totally valid.
And some people gravitate towards, after a big day, they want to vent and they want to rage on the internet, and that is their flavor for them, and they'll find a streamer that is their culture and what they love, and that person can gravitate towards them. And as a streamer, as a growing streamer, you kind of become more comfortable. I think you might agree with this, but let me know how you feel, of that when you're first starting out, you want to be friends with everyone. You want to be able to help everyone, and you want to be able to everyone to approve of your content. But then as you grow and you get more comfortable in yourself and your vibe, then you acknowledge that, this is what I'm giving out. If this is what you want, stay here. If it's not, you can move on. Like you don't have, no one, you don't have to stay here, be here if you want to be here. Vibe with me if you want to vibe. But if it's not, then, this might not be the community for you type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like comfort is the enemy of success, because like if you keep shoving yourself into a box and shape yourself into something that you think is more palatable or likable, and this goes like outside of content creation as well, as you as a person, like if you shove yourself into a box, then you can't grow. And that's okay. And you never know what's across that fence, or taking that leap with doing something different, or, the beauty of authenticity. We talk about this a lot on my stream, actually.
That's it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I agree. It's definitely about, you can't be something for someone else that isn't your nature. You know what I mean? You can't be everything for everybody, and you need to understand and be true to yourself to attract the people that you want to attract, right? Yeah.
Yep, my grandpa and my dad always say, you are the company you keep. And it never made sense to me growing up.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like if you surround, like you're just kind of around someone, like, wow, you're kind of making my day kind of a drag. I think we all know someone and have someone in our life like that. Yep. And like, then that's kind of going to affect who you are as a person.
Yeah. You want to surround
you are
yourself
the company you keep.
Yeah, and you want to surround with people who go, oh my God, like I had a really great day, or I really, enjoyed myself, or I'm a better person because that person challenged me, rather than that like, oh, you feel tired after you leave someone's,
Yep. Exactly.
All right, so have we rolled out everything?
Yep, we're all good. We're all rolled out.
So now we're going to bring our cutter attachment and we're going to swap over.
Okay.
So you do a lot of different content in The Sims, and you do TikTok and YouTube. Do you find that do you have a plan of what you want to create, or do you just do it like what you're inspired with at that moment? Do you find trends or what season stuff that's going on at the moment? What kind of dictates
I really
what you
chase I really chase like just whatever interests me in that moment. Because if like I'm not passionate, if I feel forced to do something, if I'm passionate about something, then that is going to reflect on me and my energy, I think.
I love
like if
that.
I'm just not feeling something. Yeah. So like it's okay to pause sometimes. Like I'm not a machine, and I wish I could produce videos all the time.
Yeah.
But I love answering questions. I love sharing ideas, and I like teaching. So I try to use that.
Yep.
And kind of bring that into the content that I create on YouTube and like off Twitch.
I love that. I think that's fantastic.
Lots of the tutorials.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our piece. Depending how long yours are, how long are they looking? Yes.
Big boys.
Okay. Do you think that's doable to handle, to feed through as you wind, or do you want to cut it in half?
Maybe half.
Yeah, let's cut them in half.
Let's cut them in half. I think that'll be a little more palatable for me, at least.
Yep, sounds good.
Also, thank you for the follows, you guys.
Yes, go
right.
and follow Zeph. Welcome in for those that are just joining us as well. My name is Molly, and this is Zephrine. Today we're doing our first ever Make with Molly. So we're stepping Zephrine through. Zephrine? See, I gotta stepping her through how to make pasta right now. We've got our bread dough. We're gonna be making some pull-apart bread soon. Alrighty. Before, I'm just gonna push pause for 2 seconds. If you want to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, let's go do that now.
Okay.
just get organized for the next step for later.
So, did you growing up, was your oven like a storage container? Like,
Never.
did you put like keep like pans, stuff like that in there?
Um, when, well, so I don't remember growing up as a kid, but my mum does that now. Like my mum will put pans and trays and stuff in there, and then you have to remember to take everything out when you turn the oven on. Um,
And you couldn't see it, but I checked the oven
really?
before because it's just habit. Yeah, I was like,
Yep.
it's habit.
Whereas I have been lucky. So when we designed this kitchen, in our old house we had one larger oven, and the oven and the appliance situation is very different from like North America to Australia. Our appliances are a little bit different. Yours are way bigger. Your fridges are bigger. Your ovens are bigger. Whereas ours are quite small. So we went from a larger oven to now two smaller ovens because we couldn't, the way that we built our kitchen with IKEA, you couldn't fit, they didn't have the ability to fit the oven in, the larger one. So we went two small ovens, and now I have one of the ovens that has like a bread baking basket and stuff inside it. So I've got to remember the same thing, is to remember and check in there what's in there in case you have to,
Yep.
like, this burning smell. All right, so what we're going to do is
Exactly.
grab your one piece and you're going to feed that through and cut that. You want to dust it with a
Okay.
little bit of flour, either before or as they're coming through, they'll come out of your pasta machine, and you dust it with a little bit of flour so they don't stick together. But it's up to you.
Okay. So we're using like the fettuccine style,
We
right?
are, yep.
Okay. So
So
the
it's going to be a
thicker
bit
one.
thicker. Yep.
I'll try it here. I'm gonna go this way.
Okie dokie. So kind of like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to zhuzh them up just like a little toss like that. And I'm going to grab some extra flour. Just so that it doesn't stick together. Fabulous.
Okay.
How are you finding it?
Good. Good.
See, you're making it look so easy.
Mine is a little drier, not
Yep.
horribly though.
Okay. You can always dust it, like if you find that the surface has dried out a little bit, you can put a little bit of like water or something on there, and so that it doesn't start to get too crumbly. Or if all else
Okay.
fails, you can put some water on there, re-knead it, and then roll it out again.
I think it's still pretty good
Hey,
though.
that looks amazing.
They're feeling pretty
Yes.
nice.
So
Yeah, so
like
good.
this, with a little bit of flour, and just, it's depending on, okay, so I don't mind the straightness of the pasta. Like Zeph has pulled hers out and she's kept it straight, and then that will give you a different texture. It'll pick up the sauce a little bit different as well. Whereas I just let mine kind of sit mine in a mound, and it goes a little bit curlier. It's up to you. So you can keep
Okay.
it straight
Yeah.
as
No,
you
I
want.
like the curly stuff so it grabs the sauce. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Because that's one
Okay,
thing
come
when
on,
my
you want
brother,
to-
my oldest brother, Belgor, which you'll know, I think that's
Yeah.
one of the first few times that you came in stream that you met my brother.
I think so.
And so he's a professional chef. And as a kid, I remember reading, he was studying, and he had this big, thick book. It was Italian pasta. That was all it was pasta shapes and the sauce that went along with it. And a lot of the pasta shape is dictated by the sauce, or the sauce is dictated by the shape. So
Yeah.
it's to grab, or like a shell pasta is to be able to scoop the sauce in like a certain way. A thicker, like a ragu, is then recommended to go with like a tagliatelle or a thicker pasta like this.
not taking my pasta. It's not taking it.
Oh, it's not
Take
taking it,
it!
going through?
No, no.
Maybe too much flour? Maybe just... How dare you not
It's
take
like
the
straight
pasta?
up not going. I know, take it! Let's go! So like I'm like in there. And I'm winding it the right way because I've tried both,
Both ways.
so
Can
it's
you, if you
not
lay
that.
it down, can you kind of like push it with your hand? If you lay it onto the machine, yeah, like that. Can you push it in with your
Almost like
finger?
push it.
Yeah. Just needs a bit of grab. Get a little bit of water maybe and just wet that edge. It might just need...
That's true because it's like not
slippery.
sticking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like it's pretty dry. It's not like crumbly, but it is a little on the drier side.
Yeah, okay.
There we go. Yep, it was a little too
Yes.
dry.
Fabulous. Nice work. All right.
So, what got you into cooking, Molly?
I think when kids were like watching cartoons or like having sick days and you would like lay on the couch, my mum was always very much like, if you're sick, you got to be in bed. Where like
Yeah, that's
they
what my
work from
family was
home.
too.
My mum worked it from home, so then if she wasn't around, then I would sneak down and I would watch cooking shows. So in Australia, you would have on the TV. We didn't have any cable or any fancy TV or anything like that. So we would just watch what we call free to air, and what was like on your regular TV. And up until about 8:30, then you had cartoons. From then you had like a kid show, you'd have the news or whatever, and then you would have some cooking shows. Throughout the day you would have shows. There was like this older gentleman, it was called Huey's Cooking Adventure, and Alive and Cooking, or you would have all these like weird and wacky Australian shows. And I loved it. I loved just sitting and watching and like just how they take regular ingredients and make them into something so delicious. And I very much was an experimenter in the kitchen. And my parents will still say, my brother will tease me and say that it was like 40%, in the beginning it was 40% success, 60% failure. But then I got better. Like it was like that failing forward and getting... Yeah, I would just do some weird things just to try it out how it would work. And I think that that is the key to becoming a better cook, is getting comfortable in the... It's also easy to say when someone else is paying for your ingredients. Like my parents were living at home, my parents were paying. But then it became, 60% success, 40% fails. And still to this day, there's a lot of mistakes. But I think that a lot of trial and error, or seeing a recipe and we're like, oh, I want to make that, but I don't want to follow what they're doing. I want to be able to use the ingredients that I've got.
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing is that I like to be quite open-minded with food and not being as traditional. Like paying respect to where the food originated and whatnot, but then not being dictated by those rules, and being able to mix different ingredients, try something new, and put my own spin on it. And then use ingredients that are easy to find and stuff that, that an everyday person can make, rather than feeling like... I think there's a lot of celebrity chefs and cooks out there that can put a lot of pressure on people that you need a professional education, or you need to have like good equipment and whatever. I really don't like that. I like with the way that my ethos around streaming and in the kitchen is it should be fun and it should be interactive and it should be approachable, really, like breaking down the barriers of entry to the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like taking out the intimidation, because like
Yeah.
that's a huge thing. It's like, yeah, anyone can do these things. Like some of these techniques, it feels so like almost snooty. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know how to put it, but it almost feels like out of reach for just like your normal person,
Yeah.
you know?
And you feel like you have to
Like,
have all of this special equipment and you need to have these fancy ingredients. Like you can't use, when people say that you have to have double O flour or you have to have bread flour, or you have to have this type of ingredient to make good products. Like, no, that's if you want to do it like in a higher end, of course, but you can make delicious bread in your own kitchen. You don't have to have a steam oven, or you don't have to have a stand mixer, you don't have to have truffles to make something taste good.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Here I am.
Our noodles are all made.
Oh my god, I gotta get a wriggle on. Hold on. Let me.
I'm over there just like going and going and going.
Yeah.
My little hand crank.
Just going. See, and I didn't think it would take. I thought it would take a bit longer, but you killed it.
I know. Well, at first it like struggled to get going, but after we got going, it was like, oh my god.
Yeah, and that's like
noodles.
when you said you wanted to make pasta, and at the start when it was like you're taking a bit of time, I was like, I'm hoping that this doesn't put you off making pasta again, because once you get in the flow of it, it does get easier and it does like get quicker. And I was like, I'm hoping that she's liking it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Like I like it. I don't know. I'm enjoying myself. Very
Fabulous.
good. I like this whole like concept of like cooking with somebody.
Yeah, it's fun, and you can ask questions, and we bounce off each other, and yeah, I definitely feel the same. So for you growing up, did you watch cooking shows, or obviously it seems that your parents were a big influence in your cooking, and like what was on TV or celebrity chefs and things like that? Who were you exposed to?
There were a lot of like, the fancy cooking shows, I guess, because America has this like obsession with making everything into like a contest or a game show and like quick. Like I enjoyed it, but Alton Brown always struck
Yeah.
a chord with me, like I said, because it was just like the why behind the cooking. Like, okay, we do this, but like why do we do this?
Yep.
And like what else can we do to get the same result? What happens if we don't do this? It's like, and it's because cooking is science as much as it is an art
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is I'm just dusting with a little bit of flour, like this.
I think I'm pretty good on that part, at least personally.
Fabulous.
I think.
And then I'm just going to bundle them up so that we can get a wriggle on, and we can move to the next step. So we're going to cover them, just push them to the side and just cover them with a cloth or put them on a plate. Okay. And what's something that you can share, like something that you learned from Elton that you was memorable to you?
Oh my God, let's see. I don't know if there's like anything specifically, at least off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Anything specifically
Isn't it the worst
that
when
like
someone
stuck
asks
with
you
me?
a question and then like
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, because I am exactly the same. You ask me a question and my mind just goes blank. It's just like,
Right.
that like grass tree, whatever it's called, just like spindling across, the scene. Like I've just got no idea, and it's like birds tweeting and whatever. I've got just no idea right then. But then give me some time to think about it, then I'll give you a good answer.
Yeah, actually, which is just that. I think the biggest thing was like, why do you leave eggs room temperature when you bake? Why is your butter room temperature?
Yep.
That kind of stuff.
Fabulous.
Like, why do you use salt? Like that kind of thing. I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting.
Yep. And, with certain ingredients, why some need to be refrigerated at different times, but not others.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty. So,
Perfect.
cleaning your bench. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to prepare our filling for the bread. Okay?
Okay.
cheesy pull-apart bread. So what I'm going to need you to get is some cream cheese, some butter, some garlic, parsley, your herbs, and some cheese. Okay? So
Okay.
you need
gather all my
200
ingredients.
grams. 100 grams, sorry. Hey Google, what is 100 grams in
100
Cups.
grams is equal to 0.1 kilograms.
Hey Google, what is 100 grams in ounces?
100 grams is 3.527 ounces.
Okay, so 3.5 ounces or 100 grams. How big is your
So
block?
this is 226 grams or 8 ounces.
So we'll just go half of that and put that into a
Yeah.
bowl. Is it kind of at room temperature? Is it cold?
Yep. It's room temperature. I pulled all that out. I've got my butter
Fabulous.
room temperature.
Legend.
Garlic. Oh yeah. I actually wanted to ask you and talk. I know, like, garlic, depending on how you treat it, like how you chop it, you mince it, you dice it, you smash it, whatever, you will get very, very different flavor profiles and different strengths out of it.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask about that as we play with garlic in a little bit.
Okay, so I prefer to mince it, to like crush it up, because I feel like that you get the juices going, you get the flavor going, and I believe it adds more flavor, but it's all personal preference. A lot of cooking that some chefs, some home cooks do it in different ways. Some people might not have the mincer or the crusher and will do it with a knife. Some people don't like it, so then they do it with a knife. I've always been taught, and I prefer to do it with a mincer, but I was listening to Anthony Bourdain's audiobook the other day, when I say the other day, maybe like 2 months ago, and he was saying that he hates, well, like this was in the book, I think it was like 20 years ago, he was like, he thinks it's sacrilegious, like, to treat a garlic like that. And I was like, man, we're gonna have to disagree because I love it. So what about you? What do you like?
Give me just a second. My headset is low. Give me a moment.
No worries.
Can I?
Rastel is asking me, I often forget to put salt in the water when cooking pasta. How bad is it not adding salt if I'm making pasta? It's not the end of the world, but it's going to add flavor to the pasta. And it's the same way, people are going to tell you different things, but my personal preference is the same. Potatoes, pasta, rice is that should be tasty in its own, not just as part of your main dish. It should be flavorful as a side dish. You should want to eat it in itself, and then it just adds flavor to your sauce and eating it as a whole meal. So I would say it's not the be all and end all. If you forget, just add a bit of cracked salt on top, maybe, or some crushed up salt on top, but just try and get in the habit to remember. Hello, are you there? All right, we just can't hear her for 2 seconds. She's just getting a new headset. Oh, drinks here. I'm just trying to create like little habits so that you don't forget. Because I've been making bread for a long time. There's still occasion where I forget to add salt to my bread. And I'm like, then I bake it and I'm like, curse myself. But just create little habits of when you're putting the water into the pot, add salt straight away, or do little things that remind you to add salt. So when you're getting the pasta out, put your salt next to the pot or put next to the stove. So then you remember to add the salt. It's the same with me. I try and add all of the ingredients when I'm making bread all together, because then if I do them separate, I forget to add the salt at the end. Hello, I can hear you. Good to go?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yep, we got it. Woo!
Welcome back.
Yay, we're good. Thank you so much. Sorry about that.
No,
Okay.
don't apologize. It's all good. We're just talking about salt.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I heard a little bit about that conversation though. Yeah. I always wondered about that as well with like the salt thing. So
Yeah. So one of the best, if you're into reading or you want to learn about, different, every person has different beliefs and ideas around food. And some people you'll pick up, you'll really vibe with them, like talking about streamers and things. There's some people that you just kind of think, oh, I don't want to follow their opinion or their idea. It's not for me. It's different to what I want. But Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, the book, she also did a little Netflix series. I would really recommend that. It's a really interesting take on the food science about adding salt to dishes, how much salt you should add when you're cooking pasta compared to when you're cooking potatoes. It's really, really good.
yeah, that makes sense. One moment. We just got a wonderful raid from our friend Springsons. Stephen, thank you so much. We're cooking some dishes with Molly. If you want to check out those recipes right there. You want to say hi, Molly? She is streaming on
Hello.
her channel.
Welcome in.
She is a wonderful content creator, and we're learning how to make homemade pasta and bread. So,
Hello,
Stephen,
hello.
welcome. Thank you again. How was
We
your day?
are just making the filling for our pull-apart bread, our cheesy, garlicky pull-apart bread.
Yeah.
okay,
So you
so-
said about,
No, you go.
go ahead. Half of a brick of cream cheese, room
Yes.
temperature.
Yep.
Okay.
So the thing
Should
with
I get
this
a
recipe,
bowl?
you can play around with cream cheese, different types of grated cheese as well. It's up to you. I created the base recipe for you guys, and then you can tweak it and change it as you want. If you make it, we want you to tag me and Zephyrin, and we want to see your creations.
Please do.
All right. So do you, with your garlic, are you a crusher or you use your knife? What do you prefer?
I usually break it apart, obviously, like I grab them and then I smash it and then I mince it. But I
Mince it-
also am self-taught, so I don't know.
No, so mince it
Like-
with like a press or with your knife?
With my knife.
Hey.
It's like I go like this. I have my skin on it
Yep.
and then I smash it. Oop, we got a bonus one there. And then you kind of like peel it apart, which I'm kind of going up here.
I love it. Yep.
It's been a while since I've messed with like garlic like this because I usually and then I cut off like the root part too because it usually comes off easier. I have like a jar of it in the fridge. That's just quick and easy because sometimes by the time I get to like heads of garlic, they just
Yep.
go bad.
And it's just like it's just ready, available, and then it's just less fuss. And you're more likely to incorporate it in your dish if you don't have to get messy and do all the work, right?
Exactly. Like I have like this little thing, but for the stream, I wanted to do fresh garlic.
I love it.
There's no
And
harm in that. So
There isn't, and there's a lot of. That's the thing that there's a lot about the cooking community that I love, but then there's a lot of judgment and there's a lot of sometimes people's opinions that I like to acknowledge, but I like to encourage everyone to do what is right for you. If I have the ginger and the garlic in the fridge for when I want it, our lemongrass paste, because whatever gets you in the kitchen and whatever helps you to get cooking or incorporate it into your life, then you need to keep doing. Don't listen to everyone's opinions. Yes, in the like ideal situation, everyone would be making everything from scratch and low sugar and everything organic or whatever, but that's not reality, is it? We all live really busy lives. You're just trying to do what the best you can do, and if incorporating garlic and using minced garlic or minced like curry paste or whatever helps you to keep cooking and get you in the kitchen, then I'm all for it.
Exactly. Well, it kind of goes back to the whole salt conversation, like those conversations about what the best thing to use for garlic, or people like judge you for doing a certain thing a certain way. Take it with a grain of salt because
Yep.
everyone has their opinion on how to salt things.
Yep.
So,
And you talk
yeah,
from
that's
one
exactly it.
professional chef to another, to a home cook, and everyone
Yeah.
will tell you different things of how they've learnt. And it might not necessarily be the right way for you or for them. And as long as you like what you're doing and it's easier for you, then I'm all for it. Keep doing it. So
Yeah, exactly.
I use this. So this is
I want one of those so bad.
so
Do I have one?
this is an
Maybe I
OXO
do.
garlic press. And basically you just
Yeah.
put the garlic cloves in there, you peel them and put them in there. Some people say that you don't even have to peel them. I like to peel them because I use all of the garlic. Once it's mashed, which you can see, you just squeeze it like there. A lot of people will just use this garlic that's minced, but I don't like any garlic to go unused. So I open it up and then I scrape the garlic in from this as well. So I use it all. You can use a zester.
Yeah.
You can use a grater, like a fine grater, guys. You can chop it up with your knife like Zeph's doing.
I love zesting ginger,
Yes,
actually, because it gets like that really fine like texture to it, and I really
yeah.
like that.
You
I do
were
it with
talking
garlic
before
sometimes too.
about how sometimes garlic can go bad before you get to use it. A little
Yeah.
trick that I learnt was putting your ginger, like the whole fresh ginger, into the freezer
Yeah.
because it makes it easier to grate and it also stops it from going bad. So,
I need to freeze more stuff. I also
yeah.
found I have a garlic press and I've never used it in my life, so I'm going to use that today because
Hell
I wanna.
yes.
I'm excited.
I just realized I need to run outside, but you guys can come with me as
Okay.
I just need to go and get some parsley.
Next year, I'm totally going to make my own little thing. Like, I'm excited.
Your own little
Make my own little garden.
I
Yeah.
love it.
I
So
want to
I
do
was
that. I didn't have
mind
the
blown.
means to do that this year. Wait, you were mind blown?
I was mind blown because, when you grow up in a country that, oh my God, I just pulled out the whole parsley plant. Okay, we'll just bring that with us. When you grow up in an environment with a climate that is basically so stable all year round, like we don't have huge extremes, that I didn't realize that you guys lose your garden half of the year and then you have to replant everything again.
Yep.
That is just crazy to me. It's so interesting.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. And like it's just right now I have some tomato plants that I was able to get up because our yard honestly is a work in progress for sure. It was
Oh, sorry.
not they weren't the most savory crowd of people living here, let's just say.
Okay.
So we have a lot of work ahead of us. Like they bought the house and they flipped it. It's beautiful inside, but the yard
Yep.
work is
Needs a little bit
a
more work.
lot.
Yep.
It does. But I have some pots that I have, and I put a couple tomato plants in there, and we've got some tomatoes coming in. They're still pretty green
Ooh,
at the moment, though, so I'm
I love that.
excited.
That's fantastic.
Love
All right.
fresh tomatoes. I grew up with a garden.
Yeah. So
I want to
your
grow
parents,
garlic.
your dad, you said would like the idea that I'm getting around your parents is that they were very active, doing different things. Your dad seems to be amazing around the house with doing like DIY stuff and cooking and things. Is that what I'm kind of? Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. And an interesting thing about me, I didn't actually have beef until I was in my 20s because we always had venison because my
Okay.
family would always hunt. And
Yeah.
they always had like pickles and all sorts of jarred and canned goods in the basement
Yeah.
that they would have. And so they'd preserve that and we'd eat off of the garden stuff all year round.
So kind of like homesteading.
Yes,
Is that what
pretty
it?
much.
I have been
Yep.
following a lot of different homesteaders on because it's something very different from Australian culture, like preserving and whatnot. Because of it's kind of like with the extreme weathers, right? With the snow. Does it snow for you?
Oh yeah. Oh God,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And just the extreme weathers that we don't have, the necessity to preserve for the winter months is just so incredible. And there's just so much, to learn on YouTube and through Twitch. Do you think that's something that you would stream, like some gardening stuff or potting?
I've always wanted to. I myself, I'm a pretty big novice when it comes to gardening and learning about that.
Yep.
Like, I know a lot of things through, like, my grandmother, for instance, or my dad and my parents, because they were obviously really avid gardeners, but I never really, like, put any of it into practice until, like, now. And I do not
Yeah.
have a green thumb.
Yep.
So
But yeah, trying new
there's
things,
a
it
lot
might
of
be something
learning
that
to
you
be
love.
done.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so what we want to do, we've got our garlic and our cream cheese in one bowl, and we're just going to chop some parsley and some basil, whatever herbs that you've got. You
Okay.
can add thyme in there, rosemary if you like as well. Okay, so what I'm going
Okay.
to do is grab your parsley like this, and what you want to do is kind of like roll it and pressurize it so it kind of stays together like that.
Okay, so should I like break off some of these stems?
Yeah, yep. And just kind of
Okay.
leave the leaves. Good idea.
Yeah, just trim these up a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, I've always wondered, I've never really been like the best at chopping fresh herbs. I kind of just went with it. I never really
Yeah.
like learned the best way to do it.
Oh,
But I got it done and it works.
I think that you just got to get in there and use your knife and just figure it out. Because, that's like I was saying before, is sometimes I know the way that you're meant to do it, or like people other do it, but sometimes I'm just like, can't be bothered, and I'll just chop it willy-nilly as I can.
Yeah.
Okay, so
All right.
grab it like this, and you just want to kind of like roll it, flatten the leaves and kind of roll them into each other. If you can. Fabulous.
Okay.
Nice. And just get your knife, and we're just going to slice. And like you were slicing your jalapeno before. Yeah. Nice and kind of fine if you can. But we can go over it once we've gone through this pass.
I love the smell of fresh parsley. It's so good.
So good. And it always just like a dash of parsley on top of any meal just makes it look fancy, doesn't it? And then once I've gone through one way, then sometimes I'll go through the other way with my knife and just kind of like pass through. Or you can just do this and just chop it so it's fine. Just any way. Like that.
Right, just get the knife in there. Just go for it.
And then the same with the basil. Same type of thing. Fabulous. And you want to use about 2 to 3 tablespoons into your bowl.
Okay, so probably like about this much, I'd say, maybe a little more.
Yeah,
Looks good to me.
You can always add more. You can't take it away. Fantastic.
Okay. Oh, my basil is in the fridge.
Just gonna grab mine.
Right. I love the
Alrighty.
smell of basil.
Yeah, it's
Hi,
so
Benny.
good. I have a
It's
plant
almost
that
like
I need
minty.
to give some more love to. Yeah, basil. Do you like licorice?
Yes,
aniseed?
I love
Yeah.
anise. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. I think basil has that kind of aniseed kind of smell as well to it sometimes.
I could definitely see that.
Are you a cilantro fan?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love cilantro. Yeah, I really
See,
do.
is that what
I'm
type of
not one of
foods?
those soap people.
No, see,
Like it does.
I'm not gonna say that I disagree with people, but I don't, because you don't understand. I don't have that gene, and then there's so many people that say that it tastes like soap to them, and like, because I can't even think about what that would be like to
I
taste
know. It's
soap.
like
Doesn't make sense. It's so good.
exactly. Like it really doesn't make any sense to me at all either.
Yeah.
Trying to find my mouse because do we need basil for the other for the recipe at all or just this one?
You can add some if you want, but if you can just leave it for this dish. That's fine.
Okay. I'll have like a little bit that I'll pull to the side, like a couple leaves, but most of these are going to go here.
Nice.
Then I'll just get to town on these.
What type of
Definitely
foods
need to
is?
sharpen these knives.
Oh,
Oh,
don't we
go
all?
ahead.
It's like the bane of my existence. I bought a knife sharpener machine thing, and it was the biggest scam I've ever bought.
Oh my
And
God.
I had to contact them, and like, I don't even know how. I just felt so embarrassed that I got caught up in this scam thing. And then I checked their website, and they had like stolen images and like fake reviews, and I was just like, oh my God, how did I not pick this up? But I got my
That's the
money back.
worst.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad. Usually credit card companies are pretty good about like if you challenge something, they'll be like, okay.
Well, it didn't actually get to that stage because I said to the company, and they were like, they sent me a message, and they were like, by the time that we can definitely give you a refund. By the time though you send the product back and then we issue the refund, it will take so long. So what we can do now is we can give you a 40% refund right now. And I was like, no, like I want a full refund. This company is a scam. I'm going to report you to the ACCC, which is the Australian Consumer Protection kind of, and they were like, oh, we'll talk to our management. And then it took a week, and I said, like, I'm lodging this with my bank on Monday, and I'm also going to lodge a complaint with the Australian business kind of, watchdog. And then I got the refund straight away. And I'm like,
Oh no, she's doing the thing.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to do that to, get my money back and out you as a crappy company. But just
Right.
hopefully warn other people from getting in. Look at reviews and things like that, and make sure you buy from like a respectable company. Yes, support small
Right.
businesses, but you have to, make sure that you're checking them out first as well. Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so we done your herbs?
Hi, Bert. No. Yep, herbs are all done.
Oh, pretty cat.
They're in. I know, right? He always likes to be involved.
I was watching you when you started your stream. He's so cute.
He's
All right,
so handsome.
so we're going to mix together the everything in the bowl. We're going to add a little bit of salt in there. A little bit of salt.
Okay,
Just like a
a
pinch.
little bit of salt.
Nice pinch. And so we've got 100 grams of cream cheese for those that are playing along. We're going to need like a tablespoon of butter as well. And we're going to grate some cheese.
Okay.
So
I've got my butter.
now that we're moving on to the mixture, like the dough, both of the doughs, the pasta dough and the bread dough, they've taken a bit of time. And now it's kind of like the kind of we're sailing in to the home stretch. Like the pasta sauce won't take too long. Everything else will kind of fall into place now that the doughs are prepared. It's taken a bit of time to get to here. It's been 3.5 hours, but now we're gonna start like breaking up and making some moves. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. So now, you said like about a tablespoon of butter,
Maybe
right?
2 tablespoons of butter.
Okay. Okay, I've added some butter.
Cool. And we're gonna grate 3.5 hours. Why are you laughing for, Exceed? Okay, so we're gonna grate some cheddar cheese, whatever, like if you want to mix, add some Parmesan, your favorite cheeses, whatever you prefer.
Parmesan.
Yeah?
I love Parmesan. I'll do cheddar for this one. I
You
have
sure?
some Parmesan in there too. Yeah.
Add
Be
a little
good.
bit of both. Go ahead.
Yeah, we could. I know Kyber is very persistent.
So you're
He
adding
is. He's
about
such a
half a
little
cup. 95
jerk.
grams, about half a cup.
Okay.
Well, or a cup. It's up to you how cheesy you want it.
Okay.
Is there any foods that you really don't like? Any ingredients?
Anchovies are disgusting. Oysters are disgusting. Pickled herring is gross. Pickled pig's feet are disgusting.
I've never heard of that.
Where I live,
Pickled pig's
oh my
feet.
god. Yep.
Is this a
Where
regional
I'm from,
classic?
we have, yeah, kind of. It's more Norwegian. But we have a lot of Norwegian influence where I'm from.
Okay.
So you'll find like a lot of those things like pickled herring,
Yep.
pickled pig's feet, kind of stuff like that.
We got some pickled pig's feet lovers
It's
in chat.
terrible.
Or
Really?
anchovies, oysters. So have you ever had smoked oysters?
I don't like, yeah, I don't like them. I'm not like a huge fish person.
Yeah, okay.
I guess
You've
like it's just
given...
like I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I can understand. Exceed is very much the same. I do like
I'm like, ugh.
whitefish and salmon, not that fishy fish, you know, if that you get me.
Yeah. Yep. I like
Prawns or
whitefish
shrimp
a
I
lot
like.
more. Yep, I like them.
Lobster or crayfish, but there's oysters I could give, or like, you know, I could pass. Clams, ugh, nah, way too much work.
Yeah, I don't like scallops or clams either.
Oh, I love scallops.
Basically, like I hate them. I'm like, ugh, not for me.
Yeah. Yep. And would find foods that you would die on a hill for, that maybe unpopular, something that you just you know that it's weird, or you know that it's different, but you love it. Oh. What about you guys in chat? Is there anything that you love or hate that you'll be like, that's gross, I'll die on this hill, I'll never eat it ever again? Angel Kitty says pickled herring is good. Interesting. Okay. Rastalor had oysters once and they tasted like seawater. I can understand. People love that about them though. I just don't like the jelly slipperiness of them. It's the same with
Can you hear me
mango.
again?
I can.
Sorry, headsets are,
it's all
it's
good.
on the fritz. Technology.
No, that's understandable. It's all good. So foods that we were talking about, foods that you really, really love.
Lasagna, chicken pot pie. Oh my god, what else? So lasagnas, chicken pot pie is really good. Pizza.
Yeah. So when you were talking about lasagna, I have a question because I didn't really know. Are you a cheese sauce or a ricotta person? Did you grow up with
Ricotta.
See, that's very, because I grew up with like a cheese sauce. Never really had ricotta. It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Different people, different influences.
It is, yeah. Like the ricotta, and like you layer that. I usually mix like Parmesan in with it, and like egg,
Yep.
and then your some cheese, or cheese,
Yep.
egg, and like a little bit of like the garlic, onion. So I kind of like blend the rest of the flavors in it.
Yep, I love it.
too.
All right, so you're gonna give that a mix. If you want to, depending how you're feeling, you can add a little bit of chopped jalapeno in there if you want.
Ooh, I have it, so why not?
Yep, and we're gonna add some black pepper.
Okay. So I'll do that now. Get a bit of black pepper in there.
And I haven't added my cheese.
What
so
are
I'll
like what are some regional dishes for you guys? Like things that are like an Australian, because Wisconsin is, or not Wisconsin, but the United States as a whole is pretty much kind of like a melting pot, if you will.
Yep, yep, I
Yeah.
understand. For us, it's one of the hardest questions that we get. They're like, people come in, they're like, what's an Australian dish? What would you grow up with? Vegemite is probably the quintessential thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of our influence is from Britain. So we have like beef pies are huge in Australia, like meat pies. Lamingtons are like a sponge cake, like a yellow cake, cut in half, sometimes with jam, but then they're coated in like a chocolate icing and coconut, and they're amazing. Anzac biscuits are like a oatmeal cookie, but with golden syrup or a treacle.
Huh.
What else? Yeah, Liz talking about Anzac bickies and lamingtons. Scones, very British, but they're big. Pavlova, have you ever heard of the pavlova?
I've never had it, but I've heard of it before.
Yep, so like a meringue with coated, like topped with whipped cream and then fruit on top. Very popular Christmas. So for our Christmas is, my family specifically, it's a lot of seafood, a lot of, we have roast pork and we have ham, like a cold ham, but then you have a lot of seafood or shrimp, crayfish, which is kind of like a lobster. And
Yeah, we have those a lot around here.
yeah, but then it's summertime, so like your time right now, like that would be Christmas time for us. So when
Yeah.
the weather gets hotter, that's what our Christmas is like. And so when you're starting to, your days are getting longer, it's starting to get brighter, then you kind of have this feeling, I don't know, since I was a kid, like that's when Christmas is coming, school holidays is coming.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it's so interesting to think of like people having a beach party for Christmas. I'm like, what are you
I bet.
doing?
Yep.
Like here in the Midwest, a lot of things that people talk a lot about as like a regional dish is like a casserole or like a hot dish.
Yeah, so a hot dish, do you have them very often? Like this with the tater tots, right?
They can come in a lot of different forms,
Okay.
not just tater tot casserole. Like tater tot casserole's one. What else do we have? Green bean casserole. Oh God, there's so many. Where do I even begin? Shepherd's pie is another one that I see a lot of.
And would you have something like a
But
shepherd's pie with venison growing up?
yes. Yeah, like a ground venison, because my dad had like a meat grinder and everything, and our
Yeah.
uncles and like some of our friends would go. Why the heck is my headset on the fritz today? Sorry.
No, that's
Yeah,
okay.
like um they would automatically, or they would like grind all their meat and everything
Yep. So they would
and
go
then
hunting
freeze it and kind
together.
of divvy it up. Yeah.
Yep. And then they would like,
And like
butcher it, and then you would like separate it, and then you know your family would then like divide the carcass and then freeze it all up. I love that.
yep.
Amazing.
Yep.
How's your mixture coming together?
Good. It's all, I would say it's pretty well blended.
Fabulous.
Like
All right.
everything's all like distributed here, so.
Nice. Okay, so we gonna grab our dough, our risen dough now, and you can do
I
this
hope
in
that it
a few
actually
different ways.
raised.
No, that's all right. Let's have a look.
It's my like worst nightmare. I'm like, did it actually rise? Oh, it did! Yay, I did it! it.
Looks good. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to degas it. So we want to push it down just very slightly. All right. And then take it out of your bowl. Like that. What do you think about venison?
Excellent.
That, like, do you think that's an underappreciated type of meat? Do you think that,
I do.
yeah?
I know a lot of people don't like it specifically because they think it's really gamey.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to like really cook with it properly, and like bay leaf is really the secret ingredient to getting it to like to cutting the gamey flavor. I don't know why. It's
Yeah. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
well, like, if there was community members now that are watching that hadn't had an experience with venison, what is a good introduction? What's a good dish to have it if they see it in a restaurant, or they go and make some, they go to the grocery store and they get it and they're going to prepare a meal? What would be the best introduction?
Honestly, in my opinion, that like we had people come to our house like they hated venison. They were adamant that they hated it.
Yep.
Honestly, my mom makes a really good roast, which is probably like a little too high up, but really
Yeah.
sloppy joes. Sloppy joes.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
mean, that's what I grew up with, and like people like that was venison. Be like, yes, it was.
Wow. I'd never heard of it. Okay. Yeah, for me, I haven't ever had a roast venison. I had like steaks and things, and I do like it. I'm not too big on gaminess when it comes to kangaroo, but I do like venison, and I do like not rabbit, duck. So on the level of duck, would you say it's more or less gamey for people?
I've never actually had duck before. We
No?
never really had like waterfowl or anything
Yep.
like that. I've
Okay.
never knowingly had duck.
Yep.
So I can't say.
Okay.
Never had kangaroo either.
You don't need to. It's not that good. All right. So next step is we're gonna get the loaf tin.
Yep.
Let me get.
I have a glass one. Should I grease this? I guess that's probably the next step.
Yes. Just spray it, or grease it with some oil, some butter or oil, whatever you like. I'm gonna be using that.
Okay. Use some butter.
Okay, so and we can approach this in different ways with incorporating the filling. You can choose to make like a monkey bread, where you get a bit of the dough, hollow it out, and put the filling in the middle, and then make it into a bowl. Or you can, the way that the recipe is written is you create slices of your dough and pretend that's like a loaf of bread, like a piece of bread. You layer one side and then stack another piece of bread, another piece of dough on top, and then you stack it up. So it's all personal preference. So it's like pull apart bread or monkey bread style.
I think like the monkey bread style would be really good. That
Yeah,
sounds nice
okay.
to me.
Sounds good. I am just trying to find my butter. Did I put it back in the bin?
Oh, you're good.
Here it is. Okay. So all I'm doing is just getting like a little handful or like a little piece of butter like this, and I'm just going to move the dough and just grease the inside.
Love a good bit of butter.
More butter, more better. Can we get some butters in chat, guys? Show Zephrine some
butter's
butters.
so good.
We have a butter
Love some
remote.
butter. As everyone should. I have a cheesy heart.
We share a love of cheese, both of us, you and myself. What is your favorite cheese? What style of cheese, or do you like a soft
really
cheese,
like-
a hard cheese?
I really like hard, nutty cheeses, so like your parmesans and stuff like that. Actually, a lot.
You have a big
Hard, nutty cheese.
You were telling me you have a big piece of cheese, didn't you? Maybe that was.
What do you mean, like
You had
for
like
what
a wedge
though?
of cheese. Maybe it's all gone. We were when
It
I
might
was
be.
at that cheese cathedral. Do you remember? I was sending you when
Oh
we were talking because I was at
yeah.
the cheese cathedral and you were like, I have a big wedge of butter that cheese that I just bought.
Yeah, and we also have fresh mozzarella too. We always have
Yes,
some of this in the freezer.
I love it. In the
It's fresh.
freezer. Nice.
Yep. You
Yes, thank
freeze
you
it
guys
and
for
then
the
you can thaw it
butters.
out and then just like grate it up.
Nice. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is get a knife, or this is a bench scraper that I just used, and you're just gonna bundle this into, let's go with like pieces about the size of your, I don't know, like golf ball sizes.
So do I like roll this out?
And not too
Kinda?
much, like you don't need to handle it too much, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So just like kind of golf ball sizes. The
Okay.
size of like in your palm, if you hold it in your palm, it's about that big. Yep, fantastic. Now keep going. Fabulous. See how many we can get. Okay, so 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 pieces maybe. Fabulous.
I have like
Good.
yeah.
I love it. Okay, so what you want to do is grab a piece and stretch it out like this. Fantastic.
Okay, so kind of like that.
Yep, and then you just want to grab, like, either use like a teaspoon if you want. Just use a teaspoon of your mixture and then place that inside like this. Yep, and then you just want to like pull it so that from one side to the other, stretch it over and pinch. Like that.
Almost like a little dumpling kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Cool. And then you're just going to pop that in your dish.
Okay, easy enough. Sounds
And
great
then
to me.
Going to continue. Fabulous. So we were chatting the other day about Sims challenges and the different, community events that you have. What is one of the weirdest and wackiest challenges that you've seen or been a part of?
In like gameplay stuff?
Yeah. Or whatever, like, because you've got the legacy challenge and there's all these different interesting things like the decade challenge. What's something that's you really, really loved? And what's something that's like, has there been one that you're like, oh, that's a bit strange or like not for me?
There hasn't been one yet. Like there's 100 baby challenge where basically like you have to like have 100 babies. But you have to have a different partner for every baby.
Yeah, okay.
So
So
it's
I
a
was
lot
going
of
to ask,
sleeping
what are the
around.
rules behind that? Like, is there, like, you have to be one mother or, so is that what it is? One mother has 100 babies?
Not necessarily, but there are people who will try to get to have like the mom to have like as many babies as possible kind of thing. You know, but it's not like a part of the rules.
Okay. All right, she just lost her microphone at the moment. That's okay. You're back.
Rude.
Yes.
Apparently it's just on the fritz today. But the mom there's some people that have gotten up to like I think 50 babies on one mom,
Oh my goodness.
which is a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
100 babies is always really, really crazy.
So Punk
There's
Princess
one
is
called
saying
Black
that she had
Widow.
a female that had 100 babies.
Yep. Because you can basically there's ways that you can age down your sim, but your sim also doesn't age when they're pregnant
Okay.
too.
So
So if
would
you
this
line it up
be
properly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
If you
would
line it
have
up
to use
properly,
to age them down? Or?
no, there's like little potions that you can buy,
Ah.
but Yeah, so basically if you do it right, you will always have a partner. So you'll always like have someone like lined up basically. And then you
Someone
can
was
just
just
have your
around
babies that
to.
get knocked up right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Interesting.
And then there's also one called the Black Widow Challenge,
Tell me
which
about
sound
this.
like basically you have a female sim
Yeah.
and she doesn't work. She marries for money.
Okay.
So she marries for money and she kind of does her thing and she murders. She has like this fancy dinner party. She's like the perfect wife, perfect life.
Yep.
And then she kills her husband and then marries the next one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's a lot of different challenges. Like we have kind of like this fun little gameplay thing that we're doing right now, well kind of on the side. Every once in a while we'll kind of play it
Mm-hmm.
where um he's kind of like this dastardly villain kind of character.
Mm.
And he breaks into people's houses, uses like stuns them, steals their stuff, and then sells it
Oh
to
no.
get money.
So
Yeah.
you have the ability to steal other people's belongings, and do you have like do they have to be on the lot to sell it, or how do they take it back to their lot, or how does it work?
There's ways that you can like emulate the selling of it, I guess, to like pretend. But essentially, to visit someone's house, they do have to be there unless you can like break in and stuff.
Yep.
But usually we go when they're there and then we sneak around, like, and every once in a while he'll like convince someone to like go streaking and go running around outside naked. And then he'll like steal stuff from them when they're gone. And he looks like there's this villain called there's this old like TV show villain called Dastardly Dan,
Okay.
and he's like very like curly mustache, like big chin, and just I don't know.
And this
He's
is
funny.
something that this is a character you created?
Yeah, basically like chat did. I was like, because the challenge is called super evil supervillain or super rich supervillain.
Yeah.
So you have to get super rich and you're a villain, and we just like added our little spice to it to like steal things from people and get rich
Oh my
and
goodness.
make them go streaking.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So our community really likes doing really random off the chain stuff like
I
that.
love it. I
So
love that
fun.
allows that creativity, and you're not doing the same thing. Like every time you get raid or every time I'm in your chat, there's just like, what are you doing now? Like what the one with the Exceed, what was it the other day that it was just like the vampires, and Exceed will come into my office and he'll
challenge.
be like, Zeph's doing this. And I'm like, what? Like I just like need to go in and you need to explain it to me or whatever. Exceed, we have a video that we are going to inspired by First We Feast, and they're Explain That Graham. We've got a few things that we want you to explain to us of what they are. So let me know when you're ready, and I want you to just tell us what happened here and what was going on.
Should I show my screen so the community can watch what I'm watching at the same time here for this one specifically? I
Hold
can't
on 2
hear
seconds.
Exceed, by the way. Yep.
We'll show it on my screen, so if they see see my camera, we'll show it over here. Give me 2 seconds. He's just doing it.
Yep, no problem.
You might have already, one of them you already heard before, and we want you to explain it, but we'll just wait and we'll see. Yes, please.
All right, so I really want to pee on all the stuff. We need to pee on all the things. All right, so I really want to pee on all the stuff. We need to pee on all the things.
Oh my god! Okay.
One more time.
All right, so I really want to pee on all the stuff. We need to pee on all the things.
Can you explain to me?
Sims out of context.
Yes.
Sims out of context is like my favorite thing in the world.
I want to know what was happening there.
We were playing the new Werewolves pack when that came out. and you're a dog, you know, you're a werewolf, you can pee on things. And you can eat anything.
I
So I wanted
also
to pee on
saw a
everything.
clip because I was going through clips recently, and I saw there was. So do they squat to pee? Like
They
it was just
do.
like this character that was not yet a werewolf, and it just
Yep, they
literally
just straight up
was
just
walking and
like-
just squatted and peed, and I was just like, what am I
Yep.
watching? I had no idea. I was like, what have I walked into?
Yep, they squat to pee.
So they don't cock their leg.
Nope, they just straight up just pop a squat right there in the lawn,
Oh.
and then they do their thing.
I
Yep.
love it. So how many things in that stream are like you just went around peeing on the house?
Yeah, and like basically someone was mean to us, and then we ate their fridge. Because
A
that's
whole
the next
fridge?
natural thing that we could do. Yeah, you can have your Sims in that pack. You can eat anything. So oh my God, there's this other thing that happened. Like, we did something. We like ate the cookie jar thing. So we ate the cookies, and then we peed on the rug, and then we left because you could pee anywhere. So
Oh my goodness.
it's really fun. Sims has like a lot of really ridiculous things that you can do to like cause havoc.
So what
and
I'm
it's just
saying
a
is like
blast.
I don't want to be nasty because I got a brand new fridge, so I just got to just be really nice to you and not upset you in any way.
Right?
Or
So
just, like,
hungry we could eat a fridge.
Yeah, just I have a problem with my dogs peeing on stuff, let alone the werewolves.
Yep. I love Sims out of context because like there's Facebook groups that you can be a part of that, you know, they talk about Sims things.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, then you start to play this game of like, okay, is this Sims or is this real life? And it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you were saying that.
Sims
So you're a part
usually.
of different communities. Is that
Yeah.
a way that you think that is great with connecting with different people, like on, you know, who are part of your community and also out, so you can kind of keep in the loop what other people are doing with their Sims?
In a way, yeah. So you can see like kind of what's trending or what's popular at the moment kind of thing. So yeah.
Fabulous. All right, so do you have a little bit of extra filling left? Did you use all your
Just a
filling?
tiny little bit.
All right, so what we're gonna do is, I've just got a visitor.
Oh.
Hello, buddy. He's just like had a nap and he's just woken up. So what I'm gonna do is grab you can either use oil or you can use butter, and we're just gonna melt it so we can kind of spread that around the bowls of dough. So you can use butter or you can use oil. What would you prefer?
All right, so let's use some oil. Let's do that.
Okay. So what you want to do is I'm just going to take off this top layer of dough. Depending on how many you've got, I know my bowls might be a little bit smaller than yours, but you can use the leftover of this mix, and we can just kind of place it in between the bowls as well. Because they'll have some cheesy goodness on top, so they'll be inside and around, or you can just add them, keep them inside if you want. His name is Chester. He is a 5-year-old cavoodle. He is my helper, of course.
Beautiful.
How many little cats do you have now? Is it
Just
Kyber?
2. Yeah.
Kyber and
Yep. Ahsoka. Yeah.
Ahsoka, that's it. I always forget. So Exceed asked me the question to ask you. Would you recommend cats, as a person that's never really owned a house cat, would you recommend us getting a cat? What type, or not at all?
Yes. I like cats. I'm a cat person through and through.
Yep.
There are cats who can do very well with dogs, but it really does depend on the cat and the dog.
And the temperament, okay.
Because sometimes, yeah, and the temperament and everything. So, yeah, I mean, they're really easygoing. Like, you clean their litter box, you give them fresh water, you feed them, and they're there. They exist. They're a lot more low maintenance than dogs are, for sure.
Okay. But
Yeah.
I have a little bit of intrigue and a little bit of wariness about the sassiness of cats. Which one of your cats is more
They-
sassy or got more of a temper than the other?
Not really. Kyber will kind of sit there and just kind of like meow at you a little bit,
Yeah.
but he won't necessarily like swat or be mean.
Yep.
But cats are truly a lesson on what's it called? Consent is what I like
Yep.
to say. Because they tell you, you read their body language, they say no, you back off.
Yep.
And then you're going to be good. So like there's ways when you get cats when they're really little, like that you can discourage using claws.
Okay.
Because like we can like mess with and manhandle our cats, and for the most part, not really get any claws at all
Okay.
or anything like that. Because like
I'm just gonna
you
drizzle with a
stop
bit of
playing with
oil.
them.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I did that too. I saw what you did. But you can
Can
like,
teach them from an
discourage that,
early
so-
age. Okay. That makes sense.
exactly. Yeah.
All right. And so you can, if you wanted to, we haven't handled this too much. We haven't kneaded it. So the need to proof it again for another 45 minutes or another 20 minutes, depending on your environment, you can do that if you wanted. If you want a really light, fluffy dough, or because we haven't handled it too much, you can pop it basically in the oven now. So that's what we're going to do. Our oven's been preheated, it's
Okay.
nice and hot, and we're going to pop it in the oven. Just going to give us a bit more of a slightly denser dough, but it's still going to be light and airy and be really, really tasty. I know we're a little bit conscious on
Yeah.
time, so I want to get it in the oven so we can start eating, because I know it's 10 p.m. for you right now.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
We're being too busy talking.
That's all right.
All right, so you pop that in the oven.
Yep, it's all in there,
Fabulous.
all getting toasty.
All right, so now we're going to get started on our sauce for our pasta. So what you're going to need is a onion, and we're going to cut up our onion.
Actually gonna grab a little bit of a dish so I can put my other parsley in there.
Lovely. Have you always had cats?
Yes. Yep. There's photos of me when I was really little with like kittens in my arms.
Oh, I love that.
Always, always, always. My brother, it's a little grim and I'm not sure if I should really share it. I was probably 2 or 3 years old, and I was holding an unalived cat because I didn't realize that it was not. Yeah, I just wanted to hold it, and I was like 2. So
I have a very similar story. My family used to breed ostriches. Have you ever had an ostrich, like an African like bird?
yeah.
And we used to breed them, and my mum was looking after this little infant, and it was sick.
Oh, no.
And I was about 2 or 3 in the same. I picked it up, and because they have like long necks, so I picked it up by its neck, and I came into my mum. I was like,
Oh,
"Mum,
no.
it's sick. Mummy's sick." And she was like, "What are you doing?" And I just had like no idea. Very, very similar situation. And
Yeah, so there's that's like one of my brother's favorite stories to tell though. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
the one about the
Yep.
kitten, and I'm like, oh my god.
just
But
the little
I
things that
used
you
to
do as
swaddle
kids, we've got
them,
no idea. Oh
right?
my goodness.
I used to swaddle them like babies,
Yep.
drive them around in my little stroller,
Mm-hmm. Look at you cutting
yeah,
that
like-
onion. I love it.
right? I cook with onions.
Whoop. Technology,
There we
guys. There we go. She's back.
It's just like powering off like at random intervals. It's
I've
fully
been having that
charged.
issue with my headset as well. It just like you do something and then it just like powers off. I'm listening to an audiobook and it just halfway through and it stops.
I'm like, really? Don't do this to me.
So you're very confident with an onion, you were saying? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah.
Yep.
Not like super, but like more confident than other vegetables, I should say, if that makes
Fantastic.
sense.
All right. I just need to go into the pantry real quick because I washed the dishes. Oh well, I didn't wash the dishes. The dishwasher washed the dishes. And I need my fry pan. Okay. So we're gonna need to put a large fry pan. I like a deeper fry pan like this because it's like a saucepan but a fry pan in one, so you can do a lot saucier ingredients and it doesn't slip up the side. Or you can use like a casserole dish or like a cast iron kind of Dutch oven style, whatever you have.
Yeah. I think like the biggest pan that I have is this one. It's not quite as deep as yours, but it still gets the job done, I think.
That's awesome.
Just a big skillet.
Fabulous. And you
So
want to put
I
that
have a
on medium heat?
giant onion. Okay. I have like a giant onion. So this is half of it.
It's up to you if you want to
Should
use
I
the
go
whole
ahead
thing.
with all
You
of
can,
it?
yeah, if you want to. Oh, can you already start smelling the bread?
Not quite. But I can smell the onion. I think that's really overpowering it for me at the moment. Okay, it's on medium.
Alrighty.
I think I might just go with a half of an onion.
Okay.
It's big, so.
All right, so you want to put a little bit of oil in your fry pan and then go ahead and add your onion.
Okay. Sweat the veggies.
So a sausage in Australia, like it doesn't really come in like sausage meat. It usually comes in like a sausage casing. If I was going to get Italian sausage, it doesn't really, if that makes sense. So we're going to have to, how we buy it is it's in sausages, then we're going to take it out of the casing. I don't know how it comes for you guys, like ground meat.
It comes both ways.
Fabulous.
So I decided to get the ground version.
I love it. Okay. Oh, wrong one. Let's go here. So we're going to add a little bit of oil. I'm going to add our onion. Like that.
Should have used the plastic cutting board, but that's fine.
Ah, it's all good. And then I have my... Do you want to know something? That I've been vegetarian all of this month. It's my vegetarian challenge. And I said like before we even, because we knew that we were doing this like a month ago, and I just said,
Yeah.
"Look, I'm gonna eat it, and I've been looking forward to it. I cannot
You're
be
like, I want the
vegetarian."
meat.
Yeah. Except it was like, we were laying in bed last night, about to go to bed. I go to sleep, and he goes, "You get meat tomorrow." And I was like, yes, I'm so excited. I can, and I've been loving making more vegetarian food and getting out of my comfort zone, but I cannot be vegetarian like 100%. I feel like a chicken is a staple, and I want to keep it that way. Do you eat a lot of
chicken?
meat?
We eat a lot of ground turkey and a lot of chicken. We try to steer clear of beef. So.
Yep. For any specific reason, dietary
quite a
or
bit.
just
Dietary because of red meats is inflammatory.
Yep.
So it impacts endometriosis. So we try to eat a lot more like poultry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
fantastic.
we have a lot of sausage like this, but it's still pretty good.
Yep. And a very interesting reason, because that's why I've been staying away from too much tofu for the estrogen. Like I've read a little bit about the impacts, especially of women, of soy products. And I didn't want to substitute too much of the chicken and the meat that I was using for vegetarian month. I didn't want to eat too much tofu. Like I wanted to be able to have plant-based alternatives using chickpeas, using wheat like seitan or different types of products, but not so heavily on soy. You know, it's personal preference, and there's conflicting results and conflicting research about it, but I haven't heard the red meat. That's really interesting. I have to do some research on that.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Red meat is. I think it has something to do with like the type. I don't know exactly, like the type of protein, I believe, or something like that.
Okay.
I don't exactly know.
Interesting. All right. So what I'm going to do is
Noticeable.
I'm just getting the sausages like this, and I'm literally just squeezing out.
Just like.
Yeah, that's literally it. I feel like I'm milking a cow when we're just talking about it.
Yeah.
Squeezing it out. So a lot of turkey, it's very not as common in Australia, especially I have not seen available like turkey bacon, but we hear a lot about it in our community, turkey bacon. Is that something that you eat?
Yeah. No, we really don't eat a lot of bacon.
Yep.
If we do eat it, we usually just go for like the regular pork bacon.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So there's at least that, yeah.
Nice.
But I do like turkey bacon though. I think it's pretty good.
Okay. But turkey's readily available for you. Is the cost, has it gone up in the last few years with COVID and whatnot? The cost of meat?
Yes. Yeah. Everything kind of has gone up, but it's still pretty much honestly like 1-to-1
Yep.
with what's it called? With beef.
Yeah, okay.
Which is pretty nice. So we don't like punish ourselves for that.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
So your partner or your family, do they have any dietary restrictions or foods that they stay away from?
Yeah, sodium. So Michael's dad had heart failure in the early 90s. So they've been largely like salt-free or really low sodium for years. And he's had a heart transplant. He's post-transplant 6 years now, which is really cool. But his mom is really good at cooking low sodium.
Fantastic.
Or no salt.
Just something that the whole family adopts and gets used to.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a big bonus when adopting a new habit. You know, if the whole house does it and you're not feeling like you're doing it alone. Like if you're starting to eat healthier. For myself and Exceed, you know, if it's easier if we both eat healthier or we both go vegetarian or whatnot, because you have that support, because the other, you know, everyone else is going through it and you're not cooking multiple meals.
Yeah, exactly. And that was what it was about. Like, and honestly, Michael's mother was really, really good at cooking sodium or low sodium. So you can hardly tell because she really, she bakes with it. She does pie crust, and it's crazy.
Yeah. So she
everything.
A lot of cooking on his side of the family as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Primarily by his mom and all that. Our lifestyles were very different, I've learned.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How so, if you don't mind me asking?
Just like, like how blue collar my family is. And how vastly different his is in that way, because they're not necessarily as much. Well, his mom actually grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
And so did my dad, though.
Yep.
But that homesteader sort of lifestyle, the gardening, all that kind of stuff, is different there.
Yeah, okay.
My parents were bikers. With my dad being sick, they can't really ride the motorcycle anymore.
Wow.
But he still loves his motorcycles, so.
Oh my goodness. So what type of motorcycle do they ride?
They really like their Harley Davidsons and stuff. My dad has one, which they're selling it soon and everything, so they can get something like a four-wheeler so my parents can both ride it.
Oh,
my dad can't drive those things anymore, but
Yeah. But your mum can take him on joyrides?
Yep, on the four-wheeler and stuff. They can just kind of go and,
Feel alive, feel kind of the wind, the feeling that I bet he's missing you know, with the wind in his hair
Exactly.
and just getting out of
Oh, yeah.
fresh air again. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna
And
do
he
is we're
yearns
gonna.
for
Oh,
that.
sorry. Yeah,
Oh, no,
I
you're
can
good.
imagine. Yeah, and that would be great for him. So that's something that's gonna happen that you know thinking about soon.
Yeah. Yep, they're engaging to like sell the motorcycle and stuff really soon.
Nice. We're gonna add some chili flakes and some fennel, ground fennel, into
Okay.
and wrong button. There we go.
Excellent. I love that pop noise.
I actually just we're talking about, you know, before we were saying about like Instagram kitchens and things like that, and Instagram getting organized. I think that there's a big drive with social media specifically about like organized houses and pantries and whatever. Do you have that like target for you as like our Kmart, we call a bit very organized house, you know, housewares and things like that?
Not necessarily, no. I just
No?
like things to have a place, but I'm
Yep.
not like an organizational, like, I don't know, like I have my spice rack over here. I don't know if you can kind of see it, which it's all
Oh my goodness.
glass and
Oh, I love
alphabetized,
that.
but that's like the most I'll really do, I think.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like it's
Yep.
not.
I have a spice rack, but the jars were too small, so the stuff that I don't use, I put in a drawer, and the stuff that I use more often, I bought these containers, so like a
Yeah.
bigger size, and so
Oh,
I'm gonna
yeah.
make them pretty with a little label on top, and just because they're more functional for me. Because I got to the stage where these were the jars that I was using, and I was just refilling them all the time, and it was just getting cumbersome. Yeah, guys, everyone's commenting on your amazing spice rack. Show us again.
Aw, thank
Zeth.
you. They're
Show
from
us again.
IKEA. I want to stain them or paint them.
Oh, I love it. Can you show me the jar, like close up?
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool.
And they come with like the little things on top
It's got
too.
a shaker. That's good. That's really good.
I have like the leftovers of all the spices like up above. So I know if I use the last of it or whatever, then I can like order it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, so we've added some fennel and
Yep.
also some chili flakes.
Yep.
And then what we're going to do is add some tomato paste in. So
Tomato paste.
ooh, we have to cut up our capsicum as well. I just realised we haven't cut that up yet.
Ooh.
So give that a mix.
So how much it says about
Uh,
or how much of the oh come on thing.
where is it? 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh come on. This does not like me right now. I'm also gonna turn my heat down to low because my sausage is all
if not
cooked.
turn it off. Yep. Fabulous. How is your oven looking? How is the bread looking?
The bread, it's looking pretty good. It's rising a little bit. It hasn't started to brown yet, though.
Okay,
So
fantastic.
I'd say we're in a pretty good spot.
Lovely. Ooh, jar stuff. Nice.
Thank you, Jess. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm like thinking, where's my tablespoon?
They've been given a workout tonight. All right. So just 2 tablespoons of that.
Beautiful.
And then we're going to take our capsicum. We're going to cut it in half, whichever way. If you want to go crossways or lengthways, just cut it, and you need half of it.
Okay.
Cool.
Already washed this bad boy earlier today,
Oh,
so
look at
he's all
you.
good. I
Okay,
know,
so I
right?
just cut the bottom off like this, because then I didn't have to deal with the seeds.
Or cut the bottom off, not the top.
Whatever,
I suppose
whatever,
the bottom is all
whatever you
weird.
want to do. Yeah, whatever you want to do. You just need about half of it. And then I just cut it into slices, just so I can take this white bit off in the middle.
I usually cut it differently. That's okay.
Whatever you want
alright.
to do. That's okay. Do you go do you cut downwards and then cut the remove the inside?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. That's okay though.
No, everyone does it different. So a capsicum is a bell pepper. For those that are wondering what
Yes.
weird thing I'm saying, we call this a capsicum.
Yeah.
You guys call it a bell pepper. Okay.
Yep, to us it's a bell pepper. We're like, I wonder why it's called a capsicum.
Yeah.
why?
It has no capsaicin in it. So it's like from the family of chilies, I think.
Right.
I would talk to Google, but I don't think you can hear him. My assistant.
Like why it's called that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to cut them crossways, like into strips, and then I just turn them. But you can leave them like that if you want them for texture. It's up to you. You can
Okay.
leave them as strips. It's up to you. We can...
Excellent. Usually I cut
Fantastic.
that differently. I've never cut it that way, but we're dealing with it.
Yeah?
It's the pepper seeds.
All right.
That's okay.
Okay. Some Antomina's saying never heard it called a capsicum until it started watching us. Yes.
Yeah,
It's a
like
fun and interesting word, isn't it, to say?
I've had some Australian friends in the past as well.
Yeah.
And it broke my brain. I was like, I didn't know how to react to that.
Yeah. All right.
I was like, what is that? He's like, yeah, I'm like snacking on a capsicum. And I'm like, what?
Oh, what?
Yeah, like, you know this? And I'm like, what? No idea.
And okay, so the green vegetable, kind of like a cucumber, what would you call that?
Zucchini.
Yeah. And then the purple vegetable that people use for like an emoji that's like a little bit inappropriate. What do you call that?
An eggplant, not an aubergine.
Yeah, so some people call it an aubergine, but we call it an eggplant. So you're going to go ahead and put that into your saucepan or your fry pan as well, the chopped up bell pepper.
Beautiful.
And we're going to soften that and sweat it down, and it'll become a lot sweeter with flavor. And that lends to the pork, the sausage that we're using, the Italian flavors, fennel with the sweetness of the capsicum, the tomato, the pepper. It's just going to add, there's going to be a lot of flavors going on.
Ooh.
A little bit of hint of chili in there as well. Just making sure. You got 2 cans of crushed tomatoes.
I have one really large can, and
Fabulous.
I
That'll
think
be
it ended up
perfect.
being exactly the amount that we needed.
Fabulous. You and Michael will be
many?
eating this for a while. It makes a little bit of food.
Oh yeah, we'll be good.
Okay.
We like
So
some
put your
leftovers.
heat back on to medium.
Okay.
Medium heat back onto your fry pan. Just
How
making
much
sure.
is it?
800 grams, which is 28 ounces.
Perfect. This is 28 ounces, so we got
Fabulous.
it.
Okay. So we've added the tomato paste, and we're just I keep pressing the wrong button. I don't know why. We're just gonna caramelize the sugars in the tomato just for like 1 or 2 minutes, and to add some depth of flavor. And then we're gonna go ahead and add some white wine. If you didn't want to use white wine, you could use chicken stock or vegetable stock. You just add some flavor, and we're going to cook off that alcohol content by bringing it to the boil.
Perfect.
Okay. No foot pedal today because I am changing everything with the stream deck. All right.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that you can have the foot pedals. Ooh.
Bit fancy. Yes, I love
nice.
them.
I sit cross-legged, so I don't use it.
I was going to ask, what some type of stream equipment that you love and live by, or something that you would recommend to everyone? Yep.
My green screen.
Thought you would say that.
Because, yes. You guys like yours too, though, right?
Oh, it is fantastic. There's sometimes where it's the bane of my existence, but it allows you to do so much, doesn't it?
It really does. And honestly, like, I've done things where Michael's my boyfriend, for those of you who don't know. Where he calls me the kindergarten teacher of Twitch. So, like, I love doing things, especially around, like, the holidays. I'll, like, dress up as Santa. I'll wear, like, a full green screen suit. And I'm, like, a floating, like, oh, my God, the leprechaun. Oh, my God, wait.
Oh, my God, yes.
Do our moderators have the link to the clip so Exceed can play it for us, maybe?
Oh, my gosh.
So you can see the tiny hand clip, maybe?
That was, see, maybe we already have that. I have one moment.
Maybe.
Exceed the last clip. We just want you to explain to us this last one.
Wave back with that tiny hand.
Oh no.
Hi. Wait. I didn't know it really.
I hate it here. The things we do for charity, my friends.
Oh, it's
do
so
it for
good.
the kids. So like I had this little tiny hand and it looked like, I don't know. Obviously I did that and then I was trying to like move it down lower to like wave. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then it was at his part.
Yeah, I love it.
Not so nice. But that's the kind of things that we do on my channel too.
I love it.
I love my green screen.
Mm-hmm.
We did that for a St. Jude charity stream.
Nice. We're going to add some wine. So you're going to add about 1/3 of a cup of white wine.
Okay. I've never cooked with wine before.
Ooh, okay. So it adds a really beautiful flavor, and the alcohol content is, if you bring it to the boil and let it bubble for a few minutes, the alcohol content is going to burn off, and then we're going to be left with that beautiful flavor. So we're using a dry white wine today, but you could use like a little bit of a sweeter wine, and it just adds some really nice flavor, and you don't have to worry about the alcohol content staying in there.
Oh, got nice and sizzly going.
We actually, we've got Antamina talking about some boozy pasta. We actually have a recipe for pasta alla vodka, where instead of wine you use vodka. Ooh. And it adds a really nice flavor. And then you, again, you cook the alcohol off and you're just left with this really nice flavor. And it does something to the sauce. I don't know how to explain it. It just makes it so much better.
Yeah, okay. I gotta add a little more. I've heard of the vodka sauce before for sure.
Yeah. ABT, Zeph, ABT is always be tasting. You want to have a little, get a spoon, or you want to like to have a little piece and just taste to see if it needs any more seasoning. It's going to be quite rich at the moment because we're going to add our tomatoes and our, a little bit more ingredients, but just always be tasting if you need to add more salt or add more pepper. If you want to add more wine, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I'll do a little bit. I'll give myself a little spoon here.
Yeah, so if you don't want to drink with wine, if you don't want to cook with the wine, you can definitely add stock, or you can just add some water. Yum.
Oh, very good. It's good on the salt level. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
All right, so give you a can, your big can of shake, and we're going to add the tomatoes.
Beautiful.
Fabulous. And then I've got this second can. So this recipe that we're using, both of them are on our website. If you want to make them for yourself. If you do, we want to see a tag, or feel free to put them in Discord and let us know. Okay. So,
Yeah, and like in our chat, if you do !Molly, you can also do that as well.
fabulous.
So you can find those are also in our Discord channel.
So for you right now, you'll notice that the sauce is quite pink, like a pinky red, Zeph. Like it's a raw tomato. What we want to do is we want to simmer that. You know, you could simmer it for a few hours if you had the time and you weren't very hungry, which I bet you are now. But as the natural sugars in the tomatoes start to caramelize, you'll get a depth of flavor and a richness that will occur, and the tomatoes will go on a deeper red, and it will make your dish taste even better. Right now, it's a bit more acidic, and it's like that raw tomato.